There's a bunch of crazy stories written by the Brothers Grimm. And now you're gonna learn all about them, listening to the Brothers Grimm.
Students and scholars, friends and relations, welcome to the Brothers Grimm podcast, where we discuss the collection of stories collected and curated and written down by the Brothers Grimm in the early 1800s in Germany, including this week's story, number 70, The Three Sons of Fortune. My name is Phil.
And my name is Mike.
Mike, how are you now?
It's been an all right week. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay. My book, The Devil and Judas Iscariot, a comedy, is out in the world.
I haven't gotten my copy yet. In fact, I haven't
think-
even heard from Barnes & Noble.
I think. Well,
I
I
should
think
do something about that.
no. Take a look because it only just now said that the paperback is available. It was supposed to be available last week. The EPUB file is available.
Yeah, you sent that to me, and I don't know what to do with it. Yeah, like I could probably email it to my Kindle, but I don't think I've done that in 10 years. So I'd have to figure it out. I was just going to wait for the paperback.
I've got a bunch of paperbacks coming to me, so if need be, I can just ship you one.
Sweet.
I feel very good about finishing it. I feel like it's good that it's in the world, and I think a book about the devil trying his pretty hardest to fix things, which he didn't even really break in the first place, is just what the doctor ordered, just in time, of course, for a huge trade war and a self-imposed recession here in the United States.
I read an article this morning about it was comparing the current state of affairs to Jimmy Carter in the 70s with the gas crisis and the Cardigan talks, where he sat down in front of the fire and told everybody to turn their thermostats to 65 and 55 overnight, and a lot of people didn't want to hear it.
I fully understand that people were mad, and I fully understand why the dude only got one term in office. But the thing is he didn't do that. He didn't start it. Compare and contrast to now, clearly, some Nazi dipshit, I don't know which one, but one of them, they didn't read this story, because if they had, they may have learned an important lesson about trade. More on that in a little bit after we talk about the story. Mike, without further ado, would you be so kind as to walk us through the Grimm story number 70, The Three Sons of Fortune?
I would love to. There's an old man nearing the end, and he has no money to his name, calls his three sons around. He says, all right, I'm close to kicking the bucket. I'm going to give each of you a gift. It's not much, but it's what I have. Gives the first one a rooster, gives the second one a scythe, and he gives the third one a cat.
Just a pause.
Oh, please do. I know what you're going to say.
Did he give him a rooster?
No, he gave him a cock. In the Margaret Hunt translation that we read, which is generally the official one. I was going to gloss over that because I didn't know how many times I'd be able to say cock without giggling.
We can talk about cock later.
Because I'm 12.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he says, not much, but here's the deal. If you travel to somewhere where these things don't already exist, you're going to make a fortune. Easy enough, right? Dad kicks off. A little while later, the oldest son, he heads out, goes everywhere. Everywhere there's roosters. Everybody's got a cock. Eventually, he arrives at an island that has no roosters. They've never seen a cock. They marvel at how it crows precisely at 2, 4, and 6 a.m. to announce the start of the day. Previously, these people didn't even know when to start the day. They would generally sleep till noon.
It sounds delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's paradise is what it was.
Yeah, and so they decided they wanted to ruin it for a whole buttload of gold. So yeah, they ask if it's for sale. He says it'll cost as much gold as a donkey can carry. They gladly agree, and he goes on home a rich man. It's actually an ass. Back again with the translations. So he heads back on home. He's a rich man. Middleton sees this. He's like, all right, I'm going to do this. He heads on out with his scythe. Same deal. Everywhere he goes, there's a field laborer with a scythe over his shoulder. He eventually comes to an island. They know nothing of size. When they need to harvest their corn, they pull out the cannons and they shoot it down. It's messy, it's wasteful, and it's loud. It's cannonballs going everywhere. It's dangerous. Half the time they just burst up the corn anyway. So he goes out there with his scythe, swing, cuts down the corn, neat as a fiddle. Everybody's astonished. This is amazing. It's going to save them so much time, so much corn. So he sells it to them for as much gold as a horse can carry, and he heads back on home as well. So the third son, he's got his cat. He says, all right, I'll give this a try. He goes out, comes to an island. This place is overrun with mice. They've never heard of a cat. Don't know what it is. Mice everywhere, mice on the tables, mice in the palace, you name it. It's a plague. The son demonstrates the cat's mouse-catching prowess, lets it loose in the palace, clears a couple of rooms out of mice pretty quickly, King is astonished. Everybody's astonished. Gotta have the cat. They send him home with as much gold as a mule can carry. He's now even the richest. I guess a mule can carry more than a horse, which can carry more than an ass.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's the last we hear of the sons. They're back home, they're rich, that's it. But there's a little epilogue. Soon after the son leaves, the cat's continuing to catch mice. Finally, he gets tired. He's thirsty. So with this, he starts mewling. The king and the people in the palace are terrified. They have no idea what this thing is doing. What is this noise? I don't know what's happening. They all flee. They discuss what to do. Eventually, they send in a young man as a herald to demand that the cat leave at once. Cat simply mews again, looking for milk. So the herald flees. So it's war. They pull out their cannons and just shoot the palace down. Fire, explosions, everything. In the midst of it, the cat jumps out safely out a window, runs away. The end.
Do you have a grade?
I went with a B plus.
Yeah, I did the same.
Not my favorite, but it was entertaining enough.
High B, low A.
Yeah.
I just liked the cat bit. I thought it was very funny. That,
It's just like, it wasn't even billed as an epilogue. It's just like I figured they would like go and fetch the son again and be like, help us out with this thing, and he'd like get another fortune out of them to take the cat away or something. But like, nope. They don't know what to do with the cat. They're scared of it, so they destroy the castle trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, I like that. But there is nothing about this story damn near anywhere to be found. It's never been made into anything.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I could tell, there is no... I couldn't even find it. I couldn't even find an ATU number. I couldn't find anything about this story.
Which is funny, because like I could see this being a pretty funny cartoon.
I would absolutely see this as a cartoon. That's the really weird thing. This one lends itself very well to that. Well, anyways, like I said, there's nothing really about this story. I looked, but I think we can get into each tale a bit.
Yeah.
Get a little bit about this one. So tale number 1, a boy and his cock. And he goes out and he uses that cock to win over a nation. And I did like the bit, so I'm like, oh, Grimm's, you're not going to get me just by saying the word cock over and over again. But then the town said, look, what a proud creature. It has a ruby red crown upon its head. Tip.
What I got was the eldest went away with his cock, but wherever he came, the cock was already known. And also, he came to an island where the people knew nothing of cocks.
He came with his cock. I see what they did there. Wandered to an island where nobody knew anything about cocks. Now, one, I do want to say this to these people that lived on an island without a rooster. Recently, it's been nice out, so I started opening my window. And lo and behold, someone bought a goddamn rooster in town. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I'm sick of waking up every goddamn morning to the sound of this fucking rooster. But the rooster is a child of divorce. I guess what happened is a woman got divorced. She had chickens somewhere else and a rooster and had to move back in with her parents for a little while to get on her feet. This is what I heard. Okay,
I got to back up. Do you know what my parents would have done if I moved back home with a rooster and a bunch of other chickens?
What would they have done?
I think I'd probably have to choose between living there and having chickens. But you got to pick one. Actually, that goes for the whole flock.
You got to pick your ruby red cock or But that brings me to mini pitch number 1.
Ooh. Ooh,
Phil's Adventures.
Doing
mini pitches for this one.
Love
Phil's
it.
Adventures at Smith College.
Fill in Tales of Teenage Dirt.
Tales of Teenage Dirtbaggery.
Yes, friends, I spent many an evening at Smith College in Northampton, Massachusetts when I was in my late teens, early 20s. It is a 7-sister school which has a reputation of being chock full of lesbians who have never seen a cock. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of lesbians, but there's also a lot of ladies who enjoy the company of men. And the buses stop running at a certain point. The story got out that if you wanted to have a good time but not deal with a lot of drama the next day, everyone else had already gone home. Just tell old Phil to get in the car, and he wouldn't argue that much. So that, a dirtbaggy dude hanging out at an all-girls school after the doors were locked. Speaking of all that, do you have a moral for this story?
Believe it or not, I do have a moral. Might be
Okay.
the first one I've come up with in a while. There's a sucker born every minute. These fucking islanders.
Ain't never seen a chicken before.
Did you have a moral?
I did. Just hit them where they ain't. And
Our one fan is actually a big Red Sox fan, so I think we're
yeah.
good.
Well, there we go. Same thing with trade. If they don't have something, just trade what they don't have. Settlers of Catan style, like.
Yeah. I've never played Catan, believe it or
Oh,
not.
it's fun, although I like Carcassonne a lot better for that kind of style. But I digress. All right, story number 2. Unless you have any more notes about the cock.
No, one thing I was going to say, it's funny because I don't know if this is just urban legend or not, but so at least the 2 islands I've been to in Hawaii, Maui and Kauai, are both covered with wild chickens. And I'm told it's because there are no snakes to keep the chicken population in check. And so wild chickens everywhere.
Are the chickens invasive?
I don't know. I mean, I guess how do you define invasive?
Like, did Europeans bring
the
chickens? Or maybe the chickens came with the people that had sailed all over the Pacific, 13,000 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I would assume, but I don't know. I mean, they didn't sprout there from seed, so I suppose they have to be invasive.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, there are birds. Birds get to islands.
I don't think chickens do.
I mean, maybe not.
So
I don't know.
Hawaii, thank you. Thanks to Google AI, Hawaii has a significant wild chicken population, largely stemming from the introduction of red jungle fowl by early Polynesian settlers, followed by the introduction of domestic chickens by Europeans.
Oh, okay.
Feral chickens have become a common sight in both urban and rural areas, often causing issues related to noise, property damage, and food scavenging.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, that's that's all we have to say about chickens and islands, folks. Story number 2, the Scythe. Mike, do you ever play the game Civilization? Or have you
Another
ever
one
played
that
it?
I missed out on.
You know about it though, right? You know what it
Oh,
is?
yeah. Sims for the learned men.
Yeah, I guess. Something. I try and buy it and play it. It's always on sale at some point for like $1, whatever last year's version is. Like most of the time I get killed within like 5 turns. I make a farm and 1 warrior, and like 3 tribes of barbarians come and wipe me out.
Sounds like me playing StarCraft with you guys.
Yeah.
I can say. Guys, I built a bear. Oh.
Oh, man. Anyways, in that game, it takes a hell of a long time to get cannons. But you need to have corn right away. So where are these islanders getting all these cannons? That's what I'm curious about. Or at least this one island. And what do they need cannons for?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Other than, I guess, just corn.
Fighting off the other islanders?
A pirate ship crashed there one time, and they were like, "Whoa, what's this thing?" Oh.
These islanders came and attacked us with these crazy birds.
And the biggest cocks you ever saw. I feel it might be a parable for war, this whole thing anyway. You put all your money into weapons, but you can't eat tanks. So you got to mix it up. Maybe that's the moral for part 2. And maybe that's what it is. He's restarting them on older technology.
Interesting.
Think about maybe doing a little bit of social change, a little socialism, the good kind, the kind that's mixed with commerce and what have you. That's totally okay, but just some social programs. That brings me to mini pitch 2. First, I thought about maybe doing a Star Trek, and you have like the Klingon Empire, which keeps getting more and more into warrior stuff, and eventually the economy collapses. That's the story, because I kind of felt the Federation is a hop, skip, and a jump away from a Bronze Age collapse based on what they're doing. But I realized as I was thinking that I think I could do this either as a single story, or this could be the next 100-year part of my lifelong dream, finishing the Foundation stories, originally written by Isaac Asimov, and stopped at the halfway point because he died before finishing it. Now that's 2 stories, so that's 200 years. Now I just need 3 more stories to somehow round all of that out. Maybe 4 stories, one epilogue story. So there we go. So the last one, it was the Plague Doctors, and this one will be the late Foundation Age collapse.
Yeah, that works.
Anyway, that's what I got for story number 2, or brother number 2, I should say. Last up, the cat. The Brothers Grimm really missed a chance to call it a pussy.
Well, remember this. We're on the translations. This is all Margaret Hunt.
That's true. Yeah. But still, if you're gonna talk about cocks, just 3 paragraphs prior, then yeah, go to an island with no pussy.
Yeah,
can do. But no, like I said earlier, I really liked the bit with the cat. You're right. It was like an epilogue. It didn't really fit in the story, but I liked and y'all know cats, right? This one burned down the house, and it just does the most cat thing ever and just meows and then jumps out a window, and it's fine.
Speaking of the cat, the one thing I did notice that I thought was funny was the brothers going around in all these towns already have cats. Everybody knows cats. And he comes to one that says there were so many cats that newborn kittens were generally drowned in the ponds.
Yeah.
Just like, what a grim society. More kittens. Well, round them up. Throw them in the sack.
Get these kittens in a sack.
Do I have to throw it in the pond, Dad? Can I just
You gotta
whack it against the
learn,
wall
son.
until they stop squirming?
Yeah, we gotta toughen you up. That's why you're gonna shave with cold water,
Go kill some kittens.
but you gotta name them all first. Reminded me something I just this when I was reading that it reminded me of was do you remember the movie Tales from the Dark Side, the movie?
I remember watching it, probably like HBO-ish,
Yes.
early 90s.
And exactly, yeah, the movie.
I don't think I remember anything about it.
It's movie came out in 1990, and it's one of the 3-part horror movies that they kept doing for a little while, that everyone was doing. And so the second part was an amazing story. It was called The Cat from Hell, in which an old man hires a hitman to kill a black cat that's been hanging around his house, and he thinks it's evil. So the hitman's like, yeah, like, okay, like first he's mad, but then he's like, whatever, if you're paying me. But then the cat just kills him and everyone else in the house. But to be fair, that cat was evil, and I don't think this one is.
Was it evil though, or was it just a cat?
No, it did. It definitely. Well, it was a cat, but it like at one point it did crawl into the mouth and suffocate a woman and eat her from the inside.
Holy
and
shit!
Then, and then crawled out of that person and then killed the old man. I was thinking about I could do a pitch, but like that. But I feel like that has been done a lot.
A cat
like
crawling inside and suffocating someone and then eating its way out.
No, but the idea of like the actual one where like so recently on Rick and Morty there was this bee story that was happening in a story not that long ago where Rick gets off his lawnmower or something like that, and then the lawnmower just keeps on going, and then they go into space or something, and then the lawnmower just is rolling down the street, and some cops try and stop it. They get run over by the lawnmower, and so then like the end scene is the entire army is now trying to blow up this thing, and then the lawnmower just runs out of gas. Like, oh, we need to blow up the whole city just to do that, but I digress. I've got another final Hollywood pitch.
All right.
Hollywood.
Well, I tried every which way I could to do a My Three Sons of Fortune based on the sitcom, which ran from 1960 to 1972 and starring Fred McMurray and was on Nick at Night, or soon after the Grimm's fairy tale classics. And he had 3 sons, and they lived with Uncle Charlie. And then I could have Fred McMurray die, and then Uncle Charlie could be like, Mike, Chip, and Ernie, tired of being your live-in housekeeper and butler, so off you go. But I thought I might be the only person in the world that would find that funny. Wouldn't want to alienate our half a dozen listeners. So the best thing I got if I wanted to do all 3, fairly straight adaptation, play up to the trade thing, but make it for the brain of a toddler. So something that even a toddler could understand. Age 8 at the highest. So that, say there was an 80-year-old madman running around who's starting a trade war. I could use that as a parable for how trade works. Maybe that would be the thing to get through to someone whose name I won't even mention because he doesn't deserve it, and we all know goddamn well who I'm talking about. But animate it, put his favorite cartoon characters or whatever he's into in there that we can do legally. And we have them try and explain what trade actually is and how it could benefit us if we weren't involved in a self-imposed trade war. We can have, so we have lemons in that country over there. Well, they have no lemons. So sad. But they have Diet Coke. So happy. And if we give them a few lemons, they give us Diet Coke. So happy. That's my pitch. I don't think it'll work.
It would be entertaining though.
It would be as we watch the world burn around us. Anyways,
at least we've got each other.
Got each other, and we've got Grimm's fairy tales. I digress. That is all that I have. Mike, do you have anything else?
No, I do not.
If you do not have anything else, I don't have anything else. I think we can call it. Mike, is there a way for people to contact us if they wanted to?
There sure is. You can always find us and all of our episodes on brothersdim.com. You can get us at brothersdimpodcast@gmail.com, and we are on Blue Sky at brothersdim.
Great. Then this has been Grimm's story number 70, The 3 Sons of Fortune. Sleep tight, and we will see you next time.
See you next time.